So this video is on how to create a course on Upskill. Now it's a pretty straightforward procedure and it doesn't have to be complicated at all. Only notice or keep in mind that once you create an account, you can access your instructor dashboard by clicking this button. So for instructors, and then going into the instructor dashboard. Once you have an account, you just have to enter the instructor dashboard, and then you would have access to your dashboard. Now, unless your account is approved, you will not see this create a new course button, right? So once you've created your account and you've registered as an instructor, contact us by this chat widget and we'll be able to activate your account. Right, once your account is activated, you'll see a create a new course button. So now let's enter into how to create a course. So just click on this button, create a new course. It will spin up the course builder. Now, to give a little bit of context to what creating a course is like, why don't we pay attention to an existing course? So let's look at Upskill again. We want to look at the structure of an existing course. So we go to courses. Let's pick, for example, the virtual assistant course that is on Upskill. All right. So a few things to notice here. First, you see that the course has a nice title, and then it has an introductory picture. It can also be a video. And then the course has course descriptions. So this is a course description or course info. You can write quite a lot about the course over here. Now the course also describes what you learn. And then we come to the course contents. Now this is why we needed to come and look at this section. So Upskill is designed by models. Upskill courses are built on model basis. So for example, you have the general course, which is the virtual assistant training course. This is the general course title. Now under a course, you can add different topics. So this course has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 courses. 8 topics, and each topic has lessons under them. So for example, if I click on VA hard skills topic, you can see it has more than 10 lessons under them. So please take note. We have every course, which is the general course, has topics under them, which are these topics, right? And every topic has corresponding lessons under them, right? Now every topic also has corresponding quizzes and also challenges. So you can see this is, for example, a mini project. So this is a challenge, and this can also be a quiz. Okay, so quizzes are just questions that you'd want your students to answer. They can be automatically graded, but challenges, you as the instructor will have to go through yourself. So remember, every course has different topics under, and every topic has a number of lessons, quizzes, or challenges under. So this is the general structure of courses on Upskill. So whether you have an ebook or you are now developing a course, just make sure you break it down into topics and lessons, right? There'll be a course that covers everything with a course title. Then there'll be topics that have different lessons, quizzes, or challenges under them. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So just like we saw, this topic, this title here is what you need to input at this side. Is what will appear here. So this is the general title. Once you are creating a course, there are 3 stages. There is the basic info stage, there is the curriculum stage, and then there's also the additional stage. All right. So in the basic info section, you are just inputting general description about the course. So you put the course title over here, and then you put the course description over here. So this description is what we saw here. Is this long description over here. So this description is what you need to also provide here. So you have your title, your general title of the course, you have the course description, and then we come down to your options. Now, your course can be categorized into 3 different categories. There is the beginner course, which should be beginner friendly. Somebody who is taking, for example, a physics lesson would, a beginner course in physics would be, for example, an introductory or an introduction course into physics, right? The intermediates are a bit more advanced than beginner lessons. The experts are the most advanced types of lessons on the platform. So you just choose the level of difficulty for the course. This is arbitrary. You can decide this by yourself. All right. Now, if you want the course to be free, you can click on public, and this course will be available to the whole community on Upskill. They would not need to pay for the course. It will just be free to access. Now, there's also a feature called Content Drip. So Content Drip is used to provide topics based on certain parameters. So let's say that you want your students to only be able to access the rest of the course after a set specific date. So when you click on this, you'd be able to set specific dates that you want each topic to show. So until that date until it gets to that date, your students will not be able to access that specific topic, right? You can also content drip based on number of days of enrollment. So if you want your student to have access to a specific topic after a number of days after enrollment, you can also set that over here. Now, if you want the course to be provided sequentially, which means one topic after the other, until they finish one topic, they will not be able to move on to the other. You can also click on this course content available sequentially. Now, if you want the content to be available after they've done a certain prerequisite, which means you give them an assignment, or you give a certain parameter by which they should be able to, once they fulfill that condition, they will be able to move on to the next topic. So you can click that, and then you'll be able to set that in the curriculum session. But if you click on none, you are free to create the course. Your student is free to access every aspect of the course as and when they feel they are ready. All right. Now, when you come to the enrollment, you can restrict the number of students you want to take a course, right? Probably most of you would not want that, but it's a feature that's available. All right. You can also set an enrollment period. So between this date and this date, if the student will be able to enroll. After these dates, they will not be able to enroll. All right. You can also pause enrollment if you don't want any more students to join the course. All right. Now, you can create groups, and we'll get to this session. But if you want this particular course to be able to have access to groups, you can then create groups and then maybe select it over here. But we'll get to this later on in this video. So once you finish filling all these details, you can pay attention to this right side. So you can again set your course as a public course or a private course, which means when you set it as private, only people you share the link with will be able to have access to the course. The course will not be shown in the course marketplace like this. It will not be shown here. Only people who have the private link will have access to it. Your course can also be password protected. That means even if people buy or pay for the course, they would have to have a password to be able to have access to the course. Now, you can also schedule your course, which means when you set this date, the course will only be published to the marketplace after the date has expired. So you can also set it as a coming soon course. That is, if you are creating the course and you don't want it to go live at the moment. So this is also possible for you. Now, the featured image is what we saw here. So this is the featured image. So just make sure you get a nice, bold, very intuitive picture. Now, if you want this to also be a video, you can also put an intro video over here. Now, you can price your course, or you can make it accessible for free. So if you make it accessible for free, students will not go through a payment procedure to be able to sign up for the course. But if you make it a paid course, just get in touch with us through the contact session or through the contact widget, and then we'll be able to create a product that you'll be able to select from. So remember that when you click on this paid option, get in contact with Upskill, and we'll be able to help you to create a product that you'll be able to select over here. All right, now you can set a regular price and then a sales price. Now, when you look at this course details over here in the marketplace, so this is the regular price. The regular price and the sales price are there to just give us a sense of discount. So this tells the student that the course was originally at this price, the regular price, but it is now selling at this price. That's the sales price. So you can just set a regular price and then a sales price, and then you'll be able to go. And you can also choose the category. So remember that all we are doing so far on the basics section here is to just give description to the course that we are creating, right? So just give category, whether it's a business course, a design course, development course. Choose the category that best describes your course. You can also create your own category over here, and we'll be able to approve it in the back end. It will not automatically show in the front end, but you can create it and then just select it for your specific course. You can also tag your course in case you want students to be able to find it a bit more easily through tags, right? So when you come over here, you can input your tag, and the tag will pull up the course over in the marketplace. All right. Okay, so that is essentially everything you do here is just to give background, basic information about the course that we are now going to create. So once you have inputted all this information appropriately, you just click on next, and then you'll be sent to the curriculum section. Now, this is where we'll set the various topics under the course and then the various lessons. Okay, so remember, like we described over here, each course has a number of topics, and each topic has lessons, quizzes, and also challenges. So we are going to see that over here. So we are going to add our very first topic to the course. Now, you can add an unlimited number of topics to a course. There is no restriction on this at all. So you click on add topic, and let's say that our first topic, we want it to be a brief introduction to the course. So let's say that the first topic should be introduction to this course, right? You can add a description to it. And then you click on OK. So now that we've created a topic, right, we can now add either a lesson or a quiz or an assignment or a challenge, right? So like I said, okay, let's click on this again. So like I said, you can add. So now that we've created the topic, we can either add a lesson or a quiz or an assignment. So let's add a lesson, for example. So this lesson can also have a name. So let's say first things first, for example, and you can also add the course content over here. You can put the write-up and everything that you need over here. You can add a featured image for this particular lesson. Remember that when we are talking about lesson, we are talking about these with the file icon over here. So this is a welcome here is a lesson. Meet the trend setters is also a lesson. Program overview is also a lesson. So when you click on a lesson, it's supposed to take you to that particular lesson and give you also further details. All right, so you can write the items of the course whatsoever over here. You can add a featured image. Just don't add a video file, because you can click here and actually upload a video file, but we strongly do not recommend this. What we recommend, you can watch the video on how to add a video to your course. The procedure is for you to reduce the size of the video. We have a tool that is called Handbrake. You can use Handbrake to reduce the size of your video, and then you upload that video to YouTube. Right, so just don't add the video file directly here, otherwise the administrators will contact you to remove it. Okay, what you should do is rather add the video URL or the video link. When you click here, you'll be able to add either an external link, a YouTube link, a link to Vimeo, or an embedded link, or a short code link. All right, so an example, when you go to your YouTube channel, so this is a fresh YouTube account, so we don't have anything in the search. But if you want to add your video to your YouTube channel, just click on the create button over here, and then you can upload it. All right, okay, so once you have uploaded it, YouTube will provide you a link, and you can just come here and submit or put that link. You can also put the link directly into this text box. For example, let's say we go to home, and let's type a video, for example, something on tutorials. So let's scroll down, let's find a nice video. Say, for example, let's take this video, for example. Okay, this is an advertisement. Okay, let's take this video, for example. I want to copy this video's link, so I can just copy it from here. Go to YouTube.
I'm not gonna lie, I use Grammarly every time I write. It helps me get the best grades.
Yeah, and just like that, the video loads up here. All right, so you can add the video link directly over here. If it's a YouTube video, if it's a Vimeo video, you can just add the link over here and to look directly like this. You can add extra content like texts. You can also add images. If you want to add image over here, remember, the featured image is just for the lesson, but inside this text editor, you can add an image. So let's, for example, upload an image. Let's say we are taking this image and we want to upload this image. So we just upload it. Okay, so once the image has been uploaded, you just click on insert into post, and then yes, so the image appears exactly where you want it to be. All right, so as you can see, you can add image links. You can also add video links. You can also add images to your text area. However you want your course to appear, however you want this section to look like, you can just essentially add it. All right, and yeah, you can also add or upload an exercise file. If you have an assignment you just have a PDF file you want them to be able to read, you can just copy the PDF text onto this area, or you can just upload it here and the student will have access to it. So this is for people who have ebooks. If you don't want to copy the text of the ebook and paste it over here, do that copy and paste. You can just upload the ebook or the specific section of the lesson for that ebook and then just upload it here and your students will have access to it. Once you are done with your course, let's add a bit more flesh, for example. Let's say that this lesson right, etc, etc. Now a cheat code that I will show you here, if you are good with programming or you have a programming background in HTML, you can convert all of this simply into code, right, and essentially build your own HTML outline. If you are not familiar with what I'm talking about, don't worry too much about it. It's not for you. Yours is just to use the text and also the images. But when you click on the visual aspect, this is just what the code aspect looks like in the visual form. All right. You also have several tools for editing, bold, italics, underline. You are familiar with these things from Microsoft Word, alignment, adding of links. Yeah, if you have short codes, all of this you can use to edit your text, however you feel comfortable with. So as you can see, you can add videos, you can also add pictures, you can also add text, and you can also design displays if you know something about coding. All right, so let's say that we are okay with this lesson, so we just simply save. All right, and so the lesson is now added. So as you can see, it shows here. Right, you can also edit it if you've forgotten something, or you can duplicate it if you just want to make a few changes but have a duplicate of it. Now, a very important thing I need you to be aware of: if you close this window right now, you lose everything you've done so far. So always ensure that you click on the Save as Draft button on any changes that you make. Please take this seriously, because when you close this window, or let's say you close this tab, you lose everything we've done so far. So save as drafts. This is the only way you can ensure that you can come back to do an edit. All right. Now, another thing that I would show you is you can preview what you've done so far and see how the students will see it. So when you click on this drop down menu, you just click on preview, and then we can see what the student will see from their perspective. All right, let's allow it to load. Okay, so this is how the course will appear on the students front, right? So once they sign up, they see the image, either an image or a video, introductory image or an introductory video. And then as you can see, this is the introductory lesson. It's a paid course, so this lesson is, unless they subscribe, they will not be able to have access to it. But once they've subscribed, the students can simply click here. So they click on the lesson, and this is how it will appear for them. You can bear with me that this is exactly what we did when we were creating the course. Okay, so just make sure that you know how to arrange this stuff. You know how to arrange everything here. You know how to arrange everything here, and everything looks okay. All right. Now, apart from a lesson, you can also add a quiz. So a quiz can be automated. So let's, for example, click, we want to add a quiz to this topic. So you can give your quiz a name. You can give a summary, and please pay attention to the questions. So there are different types of quizzes that you can give your students. You can have a true or false quiz type. You ask a question and they can choose between true or false. They can also do multiple choice questions, right? So like you do in your usual examinations, you have multiple choice questions. They can also have open-ended or essay questions. So you ask a question and then they provide an answer, or they type in sentences, whether a short text or a long text. They can also fill in the blanks. They can also have short answer questions. They can also have matching questions. Matching questions are like a match those on the left to those on the right, right? So that's also a type of question that they can have. Or they can just have an image answering question, for example. So they can provide an image as an answer to a question. So these are the options you have as for quizzes on the Upskill platform. So these can be automatically graded, right? So as you can have several different kind of settings. If you add a question, for example, a true or false question, you can have the settings over here. You can give it the number of points that you want the question answer to carry, right? You can also mix up the options, the optional answers given, right? And you can also determine that this, unless the student answers this question, they will not be able to move on with the rest of the course. So for quizzes can be automatically graded. You just need to know how you are creating your quizzes. Choose the right quizzes. If you choose, for example, a short answer quiz question, you would have to, review it yourself to be able to mark it as correct or not, right? But answers like true or false, multiple choice, right, and image answering or filling the blanks, and also matching quizzes, these ones can be automatically graded. And here is where you can have your settings. Like I said, you can give marks over here. You can add time limits. Your students can either retry when they get the things wrong, or there is a review mode that reviews the answer to them when they get it wrong, or default means they just move forward. They don't have any retries at all. They can also have various auto start options. So when this is enabled, the quiz begins immediately as soon as the page loads. So they don't have an option to click on start. As soon as they load the quiz, it's go time for them. All right, so this is it for quizzes. So you can add a quiz, or you can also add an assignment. So the difference between a quiz and an assignment is that for assignments, these are usually students will go do some research and they'll submit their research in forms of documents, or they'll write a long text. So in the quiz, we had short answer questions, right? But for assignments, they'll go do some research and then they'll come and type in. Let's say you give them a question like, write an essay about yourself. So they can write it in Word document and submit it, or they can also just type it over here in long text. You can also give them a time limit, whichever way you want it. You can also give total marks, maximum passing points, and etc. If you want them to submit the document, you can basically limit how many of the documents they can submit, and also the size of the documents. All right, so this is it for assignments. So that's the difference between quizzes and assignment. Lessons are the lessons that you want the student to read through and to get to know what you want to teach them. Quizzes, you use them to evaluate your students. Quizzes can be short quizzes, short tests, just to make sure that your students are capturing what you are teaching them. And then assignments can be submitted. They can be research work that the students can submit. So this now becomes one topic, and the topic has different lessons or different quizzes or different assignments. Like I said, you can add as many topics as you think is necessary. You are not limited here at all. And once you are done with the number of topics and lessons and quizzes and assignments you want to add, you can just click on the next to move on to additionals. So this page exists for any extra thing you want to add. All right, so we know that on our sample lesson, we have, for example, what will you learn section, where you explain to the students what exactly they'll be learning. We also have an audience section where you explain to prospective students who is the ideal student to take this course, right? You can also have what is required, right? The requirements to be able to take this course. So that is what this section is for. You use this section to inform prospective students about what exactly they will learn. You can also educate them on the expected audience, right? Who it is you want to take the course. So if it's a highly expertised course, you would not want beginners to take it. So we explain some of those things here. All right. You can also just type in, these are just course durations to help the students know how long it will take them for them to complete the course. You can also provide information on materials included in the course, and you can also provide requirements or instructions. So for example, as we were beginning, we looked at content drip. So if the student needs to finish a certain assignment before they can qualify to take the course, or there is a test that they need to take before they can qualify to take the rest of the course, you can explain all of these things to them here. And there's also the section for certificates. Now, like I described in the video on how to create a certificate for your students, all instructors have the power to design their own certificates. So we have a certificate builder on Upskill. You just go to your dashboard and check it out. There is a video, so just search through our channel for that video on certificates, and you would see how to build a certificate for your students. Once that has been built, you just have the option to select that custom made certificate over here, and as soon as the student finishes the course, the certificate will be issued to them automatically with their name, your signature, and the course details, everything intact. All right, so just check out the course on certificates on Upskill, and once you've created a certificate, it will appear here for you to be able to choose to submit to your students once they finish the course. So like I said also, remember that any changes that you make sure that you save as draft. Otherwise, you lose that change when you close this course, or when you close this tab. All right. Now, once you are done and everything is ready, you can submit your course to Upskill to review. So when you click on submit here, it comes directly to the back end. We will review every aspect of what you have provided over here. We'll make sure that the videos are proper videos for student audience, and they are also child friendly. So just make sure that you check some of these things when you are creating your videos. We do not allow drugs depictions in our courses. We also do not allow pornographic depictions in our courses. And so if you need to do something around that, please contact us and let us know beforehand so that we know how to go about it. All right. So once you submit, the course will come to Upskill, we'll review it, and once we accept it, it will go live on the platform. All right, just one little feature before this video ends. You can see there is a notebook sort of like a sidebar here. When you click on it, whilst you are designing your course, you want to keep tab on certain things, you can just use this notebook feature just to remind yourself. It's just like a sticky note, right? So a sticky note that's available for you as you go through the content or the course creating phases. All right, this now completes how to create a course on Upskill. As you can see, there is a lot you can do. There's so much power and potential in your hands as an instructor. Our only request is that you first organize your course content before you start creating it, because it can quickly get overwhelming, right? But it can also be very simple if you know what you are doing. So hopefully this video has covered all that you need to know. If you have any questions, you know how to get to us, just reach us. One last thing before this video ends. If during this course creation process, if you click on this exit button, watch what happens. Now it takes you to a totally different dashboard that you are not familiar with. Now this Upskill has two types of dashboards. We have this dashboard and what you are familiar with, right? Now to get back, you just have to hover over this Upskill icon over here and then click on visit site, and then you'll be taken back to the usual interface that you know. However, you can also create courses and also monitor your quiz details, etc., etc. over there. So now we are back to Upskill. And you can now get back to your instructor dashboard. So just click on the for instructor icon over here. My internet is quite slow today. And then you get back to your instructor dashboard. All right. Now, if you need to get back to your course and maybe the draft, and maybe you want to change something in there, you just get to your dashboard and then get to my courses. Once you get here, your published courses will be here. Your pending verification courses will be here. If you've already submitted the course and waiting for it to be verified, it will be listed here. But your drafts would be here. So since we did not submit our course, we can find its drafts over here. And as you can see, these are the number of drafts we created, and you can just click on any of them and begin editing them. All right, so this has been a video on how to create a course on Upskill. Hopefully we've covered all the pain points, and it's just a simple click on the create new course button, going through the basics, curriculum, and also the additional sections, adding your topics, lessons, quizzes and assignments or challenges, and then everything is set up well for you. All right, so if you have any difficulties with any aspect of this, always reach us by clicking on our chat widget over here, and we'll be able to get back to you. Thank you very much for taking your time.